I tested 15 dry hair heat protectants so you don't have to. And I'm going to rank them from the very worst to the very best. Welcome to one of the most highly requested videos on my channel of all time, my Dry Aerosol Heat Protectant Showdown. Finally! Last place, or spot number 15, goes to the AG Care Firewall Argon Shine and Flat Iron Spray. This costs $28 for a 5-ounce bottle and claims to enhance shine, prevent frizz, and protect hair from heat up to 425 degrees. This kind of has a light, clean scent mixed with like a hint of a hairspray-like smell, but overall I would say it's nice and not too intense. At the time of me filming this, in the images that they have on the product detail page for this, they highlight ingredients like argan oil, coconut oil, and panthenol. But once I click into the full ingredients list, out of those 3 ingredients, argan oil is the only one that is still listed. So this must have been reformulated at some point, which probably explains the recent critical reviews and drop in ratings to 3.7 stars on Ulta's website. But before we get into the negatives, something that I do want to give this credit for is the actual spray nozzle itself. It creates a very fine, wide, even distribution of product, making it easier to evenly cover your hair with as much of this heat protectant as possible, which is extremely important for this product category. However, that is offset by the fact that the product itself is incredibly oily. After applying this generously, I'm left with a very heavy residue that leaves my hair looking very greasy, stringy, and separated. And I know what some of you were thinking, that it's because I applied way too much product, but I completely disagree with that. The only reason I use aerosol heat protectants is to protect my hair from heat. So if I can't apply enough product to evenly coat my hair strands and therefore get the most amount of protection possible, it completely defeats the purpose of me using this kind of product altogether. But because this is a showdown and I really like to give every product a fair chance to compete, I still went ahead and curled my hair like I did with the rest of these to see if that would help at all. And I do think that it looks better than it did before I curled it, but overall my hair just still looks super heavy and weighed down, and that greasy, stringy look didn't go away. I had some important videos to film over the next couple of days after using this, so I actually had to get back in the shower and re-wash my hair after getting this footage, which I didn't have to do with any of these other heat protectants. This was truly the only one that was so bad for me that I couldn't leave it in my hair until the next wash. So I actually think that this would make an amazing finishing spray that you apply very sparingly to smooth flyaways, get some extra shine, and maybe just a little bit of additional heat protection. But I would not recommend using this as a standalone heat protectant, and because that is the entire point of this video, that makes this a fail for me and is why this is in last place. Spot number 14 goes to the Chi Iron Guard 44 Style and Stay Thermal Protecting Spray. This costs $26.46 for a 10-ounce bottle and claims to be a dual-purpose spray that provides firm hold and thermal protection up to 450 degrees. It also claims to strengthen hair and add shine. This has some standard conditioning and protective ingredients like silicones on top of things that can add additional conditioning like hydrolyzed silk, olive oil, and jojoba seed oil. But when I looked into the strengthening claims, I was not expecting to be taken down such a wild path. I won't dive into all of it in this video, but it actually ties back to scientists at NASA and using ceramic materials like alumina, sometimes alongside ingredients like silica and titanium dioxide, to release negative ions that reduce static, smooth the cuticle, and enhance shine, which also relates to ionic heat styling tools. Absolutely insane, and a tangent that, again, I won't go down in this video, but I might need to in the future if you guys are interested. But back to the purpose of this video. The smell of this takes me straight back to high school. It is like cologne in a hair bottle to me. I've always thought of it as more of a masculine scent, like almost something a little bit like aftershave, but I like it, maybe just for nostalgic purposes, but I still like it. To me, this feels wet in the way that a hairspray does. So it's not so wet that I need to dry my hair after, but it doesn't have that truly dry feel that I do tend to prefer in these kinds of products, especially because it leaves behind a heavy residue that makes my hair feel stiff and a little crunchy and makes it stick together in some areas. Because of that, my hair was definitely more difficult to brush through, which I really try to avoid because I want to avoid breakage as much as possible. I was still able to work my brush through my hair, and after brushing it, my hair definitely felt softer and more manageable, but that feeling of residue didn't go away. To be fair, that is to be expected with a stronghold hairspray, so I wouldn't really have an issue with that because that is what this product is for if it performed well for me, but it did not. While my curls definitely looked more defined and voluminous at first, they fell completely flat by the end of the night. So not only did this not live up to that strong hold claim for me, but my curls actually fell much faster than they would without any style hold product at all. And then on top of that, my hair just kept getting drier and poofier and more tangled as time went on. So it became very difficult to brush through at the end of the night, and overall just looked terrible. The only reason I'm rating this higher than AG Care is because I didn't have to immediately rewash my hair after using it, but otherwise it's pretty much tied with that for me. And it's worse in some cases because AG Care at least gave my hair some slip, obviously, and being super oily, whereas this one caused some pretty significant snagging. So Chi, I am never using you again, and I really can't recommend this even a little, unless your intent is to only use a little bit of this as a finishing hairspray instead of a heat protectant. Sorry. 13th place goes to the Kenra 22 Heat Block Spray. This cost $26 for an 8-ounce bottle and claims to form a protective cast for unparalleled heat protection up to 450 degrees with a high hold finish. They claim that the protective cast in this is from bee propolis, which I thought was odd. Is it propolis or propolis or propolis? How do you say that word?
Propolis.
I was right the first time, right? Was I? I don't even remember what I said. Anyway, I thought that was an odd thing to call out for the cast forming ability of this, especially because I don't even see it on the ingredients list. It could be there, listed under a different kind of name, but also maybe they meant that it forms a film with PEG-12 dimethicone and jojoba seed oil. We'll never know. This to me smells like fruity hairspray. It's like a little bit of citrus and a little bit of alcohol. This one immediately terrified me after testing out the sprayer, which the sprayer itself is fine, by the way. I will just call out if any are not good moving forward, but it scared me because after spraying it on my hand, it was the only heat protectant that made my fingers stick to my palm. I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
This claims to be an ultra-fine mist, but it's definitely not. Compared to others I tested, this one feels thicker and heavier and is also a little bit wet like a hairspray. So unsurprisingly, this is another that left a very heavy residue in my hair that made it feel stiff, crunchy, sticky, and very difficult to brush through. Like even more so than Chi, I felt like my brush was literally getting stuck in my hair and you could just hear that snagging in the clips that I got. But once I was able to work my brush through my hair, similar to Chi, it felt much softer and looked a lot better than it did before. And compared to all 14 other heat protectants in this video, I feel like this initially gave me the most curl definition by far. So I really thought that this would live up to that high hold claim that it promises, but it also didn't. My hair started getting frizzy and poofy really quickly, and it just didn't maintain that nice look that I had at first, clearly. What I thought was interesting is that when that would happen, I would brush through it and that would kind of like reset it. Like the frizz and poofiness would go back down and it would look nice again. But then slowly, or not so slowly, I would say like gradually over the next hour, it would just kind of like go back to that frizzy poofy state, which is obviously not how I like my hair to look. So this is another one that I think makes way more sense to use as a post-style spray, just like a little bit as a finisher. Certainly not as a heat protectant where you need to apply a lot of it because wow, that was a no for me. Spot number 12 goes to the Redken Spray Smooth Instant Smoothing and Frizz Protection Spray. Hi friends, jumping in with a VO here to say that I have made a mistake. When I was preparing for this video, I wrote a list of the brands that I had requests to include, and Redken was one of them. So when I searched Redken Heat Protectant and saw that this was the only option they had in a can, I assumed that this was the dry heat protectant. I assumed wrong. It's not, which you will see shortly. It turns out that this is meant to be used on wet hair, not dry. But I figured I'd leave it in the video anyway because I saw several requests to include it, which means that I'm not the only one who assumed that this was a dry heat protectant because it's in an aerosol can. And from what I can see, they don't even have a dry heat protectant at all. So I know that this is not how this product is meant to be used, but so that no one watching this makes the same mistake that I did, let's dive back in. This costs $30 for a 7.5 ounce bottle and has a lot of claims on top of offering 450 degrees of heat protection, like long-lasting smoothness and shine, resisting humidity, removing frizz, and having an ultra-fine mist that delivers even smooth application to achieve all-day shine. The only ingredient they highlight in this is citric acid, but they don't explain why they're highlighting it. Like, it doesn't say repair or anything, it just says the technology, citric acid. The fragrance notes are pear, citrus, and freesia, and it's really nice. Not too overpowering, not too strong. I'm not getting that alcohol alcohol-like scent that I get with so many others. I really like the smell. I'm hoping that my bottle just has like a dud for the nozzle, and that's not how all of these nozzles work for this spray, because it's definitely not the ultra fine even mist that they promise. It's actually the messiest out of all of these that I tried. It is very wide, but it's super uneven, so it just got like all over my arms and clothes while I was using it. It was just a mess, especially because it's very, very wet. Very. Like so wet that my hair needed to be blow dried after using it. That totally defeats the purpose of me using this kind of product, but I'm sure does even more if you have curly or wavy hair. Like if you actually apply enough of this to get heat protection, it will wet your hair so much that your style starts to reset. So I went ahead and blow dried, and after drying it, I was also left with heavy residue in my hair that I think just felt like stiff and a little bit greasy and weighed down. But the reason why I'm rating this higher than the rest is because that residue didn't translate into my hair looking way worse than normal like it did with the others. It just felt worse. It did add some shine and volume and curl definition, so I will definitely give it that. But the pros are still not enough to outweigh the cons of this for me. Having to blow dry my hair after using this pretty much made it an immediate no, and then after feeling that residue, I was like, okay, yeah, no. This isn't one I would recommend. Spot number 11 goes to the Joico Heat Hero Glossing Thermal Protector. This costs $24 for a 5.1 ounce bottle and claims to boost shine, protect against pollution, mend split ends, and protect from heat up to 450 degrees. Nothing can actually mend split ends. Products can just flatten and smooth the look of them. And in looking at the ingredients that they highlight, they don't even try to highlight anything for that. Instead, they call out the use of heat deflecting polymers that provide style retention and moringa seed oil. This has a very strong alcohol-y hairspray-like smell that I'm really not a fan of. So I wasn't surprised when I tested this and felt like it just kind of had that traditional hairspray-like feel, and that it's light but slightly damp. The residue that this leaves on my hair is not quite as heavy as the rest. I would say it's maybe like moderate to heavy, whereas the others are like heavy residue. But it did make my hair kind of stiff and stuck together in some areas, which I do think made it look a little greasy and stringy before I curled it. It wasn't crunchy or gritty or sticky or anything. My hair did still feel soft. It just also felt a little bit dirty, like I had product buildup in it. After curling and brushing through my hair, I liked the initial look. It added shine, volume, curl definition, but it also didn't last. Once my curls fell, my hair just felt kind of heavy and weighed down and a little frizzy. And looking at the footage now. Overall, I think that this is definitely a step up from the rest so far, but certainly not a top favorite for me or one that I want to keep in my collection. Spot number 10 goes to the Hairitage by Mindy Fry No More Heat Protectant Mist. This costs $8.94 for a 5 ounce bottle and claims to smooth flyaways, make hair sleek and shiny, and protect hair from heat up to 450 degrees. They highlight the inclusion of argan oil, fire tulip, and rice starch, and I had never heard of fire tulip in a hair product before, so I Googled it, and the Drybar Hot Toddy Heat Protectant popped up because that also contains that ingredient. And that was like the only other thing I saw that had that. So I was like, maybe this was inspired by that. Not that that confirms efficacy for this purpose or anything, but whenever I see things like that, I'm like, noted. This has the signature Hairitage by Mindy fragrance. I don't know if they have one or two, but like the one that I'm most familiar with, which smells both clean and warm and ambery to me at the same time. It smells really nice. I really like it. The texture of this is mostly dry and airy, but also slightly sticky. So it does make my hair kind of like clump together in some areas, but it's nothing major, especially compared to others that have done that so far. What? My hair still feels soft after applying it, so I would say the level of residue is moderate. While this claims to smooth flyaways and make hair sleek and shiny, I actually feel like my hair is a little less smooth and shiny with this in than it normally is without. It definitely still looks good, but I do feel like others gave me more of a shine boost for sure. I mean, maybe you actually could say that it is sleeker because I feel like my hair looks a little flatter and more like weighed and pulled down than it looks with a lot of these other options. Again, still looks good. I'm just trying to like nitpick things that I'm noticing. I did notice a small increase in friction when brushing through it, but it was minimal. I didn't have any of that major snagging or anything. So initially I didn't have any major complaints. I thought I was going to end up really enjoying this, but I do feel like at the end of the day, my hair just looked drier and frizzier than normal. It wasn't horrible, and it's definitely better than the experience that I had with a lot of these other options, but because of that, I was like, I just don't love this. I have things that wear in my hair better. So I think spot number 10 feels fair for this for me. It's absolutely a step up from the last 5, but it also didn't amaze me or give me better results than my favorites. Spot number 9 goes to the Drybar Hot Toddy Heat Protectant Mist. This costs $31 for 4.6 ounces of product and claims to be a lightweight spray that protects dry hair from heat styling up to 450 degrees. In addition to fire tulip extract, they also highlight heat-activated rice protein and marula oil. Wait. Hairitage by Mindy also called out rice. Noted. I am actually not a fan of the original Drybar fragrance, so thankfully they had this in a different scent called Coconut Colada. I picked that one up and it smells so good. It's summery, it's coconutty, it's tropical, and it is strong, but for me it's not too intense because I really love how it smells. This feels slightly powdery, but it's super lightweight. I can feel like a tiny bit of a stick in my hair after applying it, but that goes away after I brush through it, and then I would say my hair maybe just feels like a little bit drier than normal. So I would say that this leaves a light level of residue. I really like how my hair looks with this in. Like, compared to Hairitage by Mindy, this gives me a really nice volume boost and extra curl definition. It also wears well all day without my hair looking dry or frizzy. The only big issue that I had with this is just that it definitely seems to make my hair more prone to tangling throughout the day. My brush was just catching and snagging a lot more than it normally does, which, like I said earlier, is something that I really try to avoid. I chose to rate this higher than Hairitage by Mindy because I feel like it just wins visually and it wears better in my hair. I don't have any of those issues with wear, but you could definitely make an argument for the ratings to be flipped if seamless brushing is your top concern with these kinds of products. Like, if you already have hair that is very prone to tangling, especially if you have severe damage, that might make something like this an immediate no for you, which I wholeheartedly support if that's the case. But I know not everyone struggles with that, so it really just depends on your hair type and how it reacts to this. So it's definitely a good product, but because my personal favorites don't give me that same issue with tangling, I feel like I can't rate this higher than 9th place. Spot number 8 goes to the Sally Beauty Beyond the Zone Smooth Criminal Thermo Protect Spray. This costs $10.99 for 5.5 ounces of product and claims to protect hair from heat up to 450 degrees while sealing the cuticle to leave hair smooth and shiny. They don't highlight any ingredients in this in particular, and this smells kind of like a floral hairspray to me, which is nice when I get the floral notes, but then after that I feel like I get a pretty strong whiff of that alcohol scent, which I don't love. I do wish that the spray came out of the nozzle a bit wider and stronger, but aside from that, I don't have any issues with how it applies, and I really love that it's an ultra fine mist. Just doesn't feel wet, but it does create that slightly sticky hairspray effect at first. So once that dries down, I feel like my hair is just a little less soft, a little more stiff, and again, slightly sticky. It's not enough to be considered heavy residue. I would say it's more light to moderate, but it is enough to create a fair amount of friction when initially brushing through it, and then some extra friction with subsequent brushing throughout the day. I do think that I get a little bit of a shine boost with this, but I don't think that my hair feels smoother or looks any better visually than it normally does. I actually think it looks a little weighed down with this, like my curls just kind of fell flat immediately in some spots towards the back. But the good news is that this wears well without making my hair dry or tangly or frizzy. So overall, I think that this is a solid option, especially given the lower price point compared to most other options that exist in this product category. It's not a top favorite for me, but it's not one that I would tell you to avoid either. It's solid. Spot number 7 is the dpHUE Color Fresh Thermal Protection Spray. This costs $30 for a 5-ounce bottle and claims to smooth, add shine, prevent frizz, and protect hair from heat up to 450 degrees. They don't highlight any ingredients for this, and it just smells pretty strongly of alcohol to me, like a very alcohol-y hairspray. I have never had any issues with this packaging before, but since repurchasing it, the nozzle just seems to be stuck. So I just could not get enough product to come out of the packaging, especially not like evenly with a wide, even distribution. And in looking at the reviews, it seems like there are some other people that are having that same issue with their bottle too. But thankfully I had backup and the nozzle on my old bottle still worked great, so I was still able to include it in this showdown, which now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why did I buy a second one if I wasn't done with this yet? I don't know. The texture is like a light hairspray. It's not wet, it's not powdery, it just has that slightly damp, tacky feel that hairspray does, which we're seeing throughout this video seems to be pretty common for a lot of these products. It adds a little bit of texture that makes my hair like slightly less soft and smooth, but it's very subtle, so overall I would say that this has very light to light residue. I do think that visually I see some added shine and flyaway smoothing, but it's nothing major. I think for the most part, my hair just looks how it normally does with this in, which honestly is a huge win for me. Like after testing so many that gave me issues and I just like hated the look of, love. This is a really nice brush of breath air. Brush of breath air. Oh my God, I need help. It doesn't make my hair dry or frizzy or heavy. It doesn't cause extra tangling. It's just one of those that like isn't super noticeable, but in a good way, given all of the others I've tried so far that I cannot help but notice in a major way. So if I didn't have issues with this nozzle, I would rate it a couple spots higher, but because that seems to be hit or miss for people, I feel like I can't rate this above spot number 7. Or honestly, you could say that this deserves last place if you can't even get the product out. I'll leave that up for you to decide based on whether or not you have purchased this and what your experience with the nozzle was. Spot number 6 goes to the Moroccanoil Perfect Defense Heat Protectant. This costs $32 for a 6-ounce bottle and claims to be a no-hold spray that works with all hair types to protect hair from heat up to 450 degrees. They highlight argan oil and panthenol, and this has the signature Moroccanoil fragrance, which smells so good. There are a lot of fragrance notes, so I'll list them here on the screen, but they combine sweet florals with velvet woods and spicy amber into a delicious combination. This also feels kind of like a light hairspray at first. It's slightly damp, it makes my hair kind of stick together in some areas, creating a little bit of additional friction, but it's nothing major because it is so lightweight. So after brushing through it, the remaining residue feels very light and kind of just like I have a little bit of extra product in my hair that I normally do. My hair still feels soft. It's not greasy, sticky, gritty, powdery, anything like that. I feel like it kind of creates that slightly piecey, beachy look without looking greasy or dirty, and it continues to wear well all day. If this didn't create any extra friction when brushing, it would probably be in like the top 3 for me. It really is a great product and one of my favorites, but ranked 6th for that reason. Spot number 5 is the IGK Good Behavior Spirulina Protein Smoothing Spray. This costs $38 for a 5.6 ounce bottle and claims to be like keratin in a can, giving you ultra smooth frizz-free shine that lasts all day and protects hair from heat up to 450 degrees. They highlight spirulina protein and bonding polymers, but I'm going to guess the things making the real difference here are the polymers, silicones, and quaternary ammonium compounds. Sorry, spirulina. This smells so good. The fragrance notes are black pepper, blackberries, suede accord, geranium, and teakwood, and I love it. After testing all of these, I would prefer this if the nozzle sprayed out a bit wider, but it doesn't give me any issues when applying, so it's fine. Especially because the product is lightweight and it leaves light residue in my hair that, like Moroccanoil, just feels like I have a little bit of product buildup. No stickiness, no grittiness, no dryness, nothing like that. It maybe just takes the silky feel of my hair down like a notch, but just a little because my hair still feels soft with it in, and visually it looks nice and smooth and sleek. It does create a little bit of extra friction when brushing, but it's pretty minor, even less than Moroccanoil, and doesn't lead to any excess tangling throughout the day. It continues to wear in my hair nicely, so this is really great and definitely one of the best I've tried. 5th place feels well deserved. Spot number 4 goes to the R+Co Blue Hypersonic Heat Styling Mist. This costs $36 for 6.7 ounces and claims to add shine, softness, movement, memory, soft hold, and up to 450 degrees of heat protection. They highlight the use of a proprietary repair capsule complex, which I couldn't really find any information on at all, a polymer and resin complex to protect hair from heat, which is just kind of the standard for these kinds of products, vitamin E for free radical protection, and plant-derived keratin to repair damage. But it's just a handful of plant proteins like wheat, corn, soy, so that definitely is not actually repairing damage inside the hair. And then this one also has a lot of added plant oils like jojoba seed, sweet almond, avocado, this word, crams absinica. I've never known how to say that. And sunflower seed for added conditioning. This smells so good. Mother of God. Their entire line has an exclusive fragrance that has notes of cardamom, pineapple, tangerine, lavender, bamboo, and blonde woods, and it is divine. The mist itself is slightly damp, but it's very fine and dries very quickly, so the residue is essentially weightless in my hair. It does leave a tiny bit of extra stick and texture before I brush through it for the first time, which gives it a little bit of extra friction, but then after that, with subsequent brushing, no extra friction, no issues with tangles, nothing. My hair feels really soft after I brush through it, and while I don't notice any sort of difference in style hold, I do actually think that my curls look more defined and less flat and heavy than with some others. And it wears great for me, so that combined with the weightless feel makes this a top favorite of mine for sure. I feel like it's honestly tied with 3rd place, which is the Amika The Shield Anti-Humidity Spray. This costs $32 for a 5.2 ounce bottle, and based on the name of it, you would not know that this is a heat protectant, but it claims to shield hair from frizz, humidity, UV, and 450 degrees of heat. They highlight sea buckthorn oil, which is their key ingredient across all of their products, but this one also has a lot of other conditioning ingredients that aren't necessarily in all of the other options in this video: fatty alcohols, quats, silicones, etc. Amika's signature fragrance has notes of bright pink grapefruit, juicy apricot, and warm vanilla. And this smells slightly different than that to me. I can't quite pinpoint what it is about this that is not the exact same smell that I'm used to with other Amika products. I feel like I'm getting like a little bit more of a powdery smell with it, maybe a little bit more grapefruit too. It's just not like exactly the same as what I'm used to, and maybe I'm going crazy, but it still is good. Like, you still get the essence of it. This spray nozzle was amazing the first few uses, just very strong and wide and even, but the more that I use it, the more it seems to be getting like a little choppy in how it sprays out. It's not enough to make it difficult to apply evenly, but I had originally noted the amazing nozzle, and then the more that I used it, I was like, oh wait, never mind, I guess. This formula feels very lightweight and completely dry without feeling powdery, so the residue it leaves in my hair is also very lightweight. It's maybe like the tiniest bit of tack, but it's very minimal. My hair still feels super soft with it in. It's not dry, it's not gritty, it's not textured, no issues like that. This won't be for you if you are looking for a heat protectant that gives you a volume boost, but my hair looks smooth and sleek with this in, which is just like my personal favorite kind of style, and it wears really well without giving me any issues like tangling or frizz. So this is really great. It's absolutely a top favorite of mine, and one that I would recommend if you were also looking for some extra protection against humidity and UV. Second place goes to the Oribe Gold Lust Dry Heat Protection Spray. This costs $46 for a 5.2 ounce bottle, making it the priciest in this video, and has a lot of claimed benefits in addition to the 450 degrees of heat protection, like repairing, conditioning, and nourishing damaged strands, intensely softening and adding silkiness to dry hair, smoothing flyaways and frizz, revitalizing hair to an ultra healthy, youthful state. I don't know about that. Their biorestorative complex has a combination of really random ingredients for the actual hair fiber that I don't think are repairing damaged hair. Collagen, caffeine, biotin, niacinamide. But this has a lot of other ingredients that I think are actually helping them to achieve those claims. So things such as conditioning silicones, quats, oils. This actually has the longest ingredients list out of everything in this video. And this just makes me laugh because, like, instead of those things, they're highlighting coconut water and marine algae extract. So classic. Anyway, if you know me, you know that Oribe's signature fragrance is truly one of my favorites of all time. It has a lot of fragrance notes that I'll list here on the screen, but my experience with this is kind of similar to Amika, where like I get the essence of the signature fragrance, but there's also something different about it. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Eyelash glue. Oribe's fragrance, mostly that, but like a little bit of the smell of duo eyelash glue in there too. If you know, you know. This has a great spray nozzle. It's strong, it's wide, it's even, and the spray itself is completely dry and ultra fine. It's not wet, it's not powdery, it has a truly weightless feel that translates into my hair feeling truly weightless after I use it. I feel virtually no residue with this, which is really impressive, especially given everything else we've tried. I don't necessarily agree that this is intensely softening or adds all this extra silkiness to my hair, but what I will say is that my hair just continues to feel soft and silky as if I have nothing in it, which again is a win. I feel like my curls look a little bit more lifted and defined with this, but overall there's not a big visual difference in my hair when I use it. It's another one of those that just kind of like lets my hair be while giving me the heat protection that I need because it wears great and gives me zero issues with frizz or tangling. So while you absolutely do not need to spend this kind of money on a heat protectant, I have to give credit where credit is due, and this is really amazing, which is why it's in second place. But first place is the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Heat Styling Spray. This costs $32 for a 5.5 ounce bottle and claims to provide 48 hours of smoothness in addition to 450 degrees of heat protection. The ingredients that they highlight include a sunflower-derived conditioning agent, a cationic polymer, and a lightweight emollient blend. They describe their fragrance as a light citrus scent, but it's definitely not light. It has a very strong fragrance, and that is the main complaint that I've seen about this product from you guys. If you don't like the smell, it seems to be pretty polarizing. I will say that the nozzle on this is not my favorite. I do wish that it was more like Oribe, where it's just like super strong and wide, but I can still apply it evenly, so it's fine. The formula is also completely dry without being powdery and very, very light, translating into that weightless result where I have virtually no residue. And I absolutely agree with their claims that this is smoothing. One of the biggest reasons why I've always loved this so much is because it makes my hair feel super soft and smooth while it's in. This doesn't weigh my hair down at all, and I actually didn't realize that it gives me a bit of a volume boost when I compare how my hair looks with this in to some of the others. Like, there's a big difference between this and something like Hairitage by Mindy to me. My hair continues to look and feel great the entire time that I have this in, up until my next wash, which is why, combined with everything else we just talked about, this is my absolute favorite dry aerosol heat protectant and the winner of this showdown. I really hope that this helps you out in exploring this product category, and I know that there are a few others that I didn't include in this video, but I felt like I needed to make a hard stop at 15. Like, beyond that, for this product category, I was like, that's just gonna be so overwhelming. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these dry aerosol heat protectants have you tried? Which have you loved? Which have you not loved? Which do you want to try after watching this video? As always, I will be sure to have all of these products listed and linked in my description box below in order of mention so that they're easy for you to find after watching this if you do want to pick anything up. Thank you so much for watching this video and all of my videos. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you would like to see more like this from me. Don't forget to subscribe. I love the freaking heck out of you guys. Make sure to stay tuned for my next video because that will be up a week from today. But until then, I hope you have a great week. Oh my gosh. You're telling me I just filmed that entire thing with you being a good boy on my lap? You did it! I'm so proud of you! Good boy, mister! Should we go potty outside and go for a walk with your sister? Would you like that? Bye.